Hey guys, my name's Chris and I work with fishaquariumgeeks.com, and today I want to give you a 5-step process that will make taking care of discus fish easy. These fish are kind of seen as complicated fish to take care of, and a lot of people fear them, but I believe that, with the right steps and confidence boosting, anybody can do it. And take that with a grain of salt, because if this is your first aquarium that you're setting up, I wouldn't advise going with discus fish. Just because the fact that the hardest factor in keeping discus fish is water quality, and it's just not a good fish to start with. But let's get started on the process here. As I said before, the number one reason that make these fish so hard to take care of is water quality, and that is step number one. Clean water is step number one. And when I say clean water, I don't mean, doing water changes every single day. That's not what that means. What it means is figuring out the biology of your aquarium to where the water parameters are super clean. And maybe that amounts to you doing a water change every single day, or maybe it means you doing a water change once a week. Variables depend on that, like bioload, how many fish you have, what substrate, what size filter, how many filters, and so forth. And also, what makes these fish so complicated is a lot of people scare you by telling you, you need pH levels at such a level or hardness levels at this level. And to be completely honest, the number one factor is stability in your water parameters. Just keep them the same and just do what you've been doing with your past aquariums. And, these discus fish nowadays have been bred to adapt to a wide variety sorry, a wide variety of different water parameters. And 10 years ago they were a lot harder to keep in different, these waters today, but they have adapted and they are more of a sturdier fish now. Step number two is food. And when I say food, I mean in the aspect of overcomplicating it. I see a lot of discus keepers trying to create their own do-it-yourself mix of food, and a lot of people are screwing this up. And I would just advise that you go with the simple brands that have had perfected this fish food stuff for decades now, like Hikari, Omega 1. They have some great frozen brine shrimp, and just there's tons of great stuff you can get. I order my stuff on Amazon. Yeah. Number three is pH level. I don't want to stress this too much because it's not that huge of a deal, but your pH level should not get too high, because these fish do the best in softer water, and around 7.8 to be technical. But again, just keep an eye on it, make sure it doesn't get too high, because that is a whole other topic. I don't want to open a can of worms on that. I want to keep this real simple because that's what I believe this is. Okay, number four is tank size. Some people will argue, you'll see some of the best breeders breeding discus fish in 30-gallon aquariums. And, I disagree with, people saying that it doesn't matter, because I think it does matter, because the larger the tank, the easier the water parameters are to keep. And that is the biggest factor when it comes to discus fish, is clean water. So go with a bigger tank, a 90-gallon aquarium, a 75-gallon aquarium, and just go all out. If you're going to do it right, you might as well do it right. Okay, number five is temperature. These fish need to be in 84 to 86 degrees Fahrenheit. It's as simple as that. They are tropical fish, maybe 82 to 86 Fahrenheit, but yeah. These are the 5 steps, guys, and I want to make it simple. Comment on the video if you guys have any questions. I know that some of you are saying, well, it's a lot more complicated than that, but it truly isn't, guys. I want to keep, I've said the word simple like 19 times now. But anyhow, number one is clean water. 2, food. 3, pH level. Make sure it doesn't get too high. Number 4, tank size. Get a decent sized tank. All these variables, these steps are just basic fish keeping in itself, The hardest one is clean water. I mean, if you can't keep your aquariums clean, then you probably, I don't know where I'm going with that, but just do your math and just take your time setting up your tanks, and it's going to make a big deal when it comes to discus fish. And as far as plants, don't get too like funky with plants. Plants that are super like sturdy and huge, it doesn't let the fish get inside them to nibble on what is stuck in them from decay, and so forth, and it hurts your water parameters when things get caught in plants. So as you can see here, this tank has nice open plants that got smaller fish to help clean up all the uneaten food and so forth, because discus fish are kind of messy eaters. Sometimes they'll spit out their food and come back to eat it the second time, and that's what the smaller fish help to do, is clean up what they didn't eat. So alright guys, I feel like I've been babbling for a while. Head over to discusfish.org, or else you can join the Facebook group